we're like one button away from like the end of humanity, or like if anything ever changes, like then I would change. Like, you know, like I was a baker for 10 years. Like I know
that you're making some bread,
dude. I would like if the world
yeah,
literally, like if the world ends and money's not valuable anymore, I will make bread, like flour and water.
yeah.
Bread, like what's up, dude? Like, you know.
Welcome back to the Attorneys on Accident podcast with your hosts, Joe Worth and Ash Blackburn. We are sitting down with Oscar Cardona, who is the owner of this fabulous Pod Place studio and got us our start.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Dude,
go.
thanks for interviewing me.
Yeah.
I feel like I made it to the big times.
Yeah, we really just want to spend most of the time talking about your infectious laugh.
Yeah. And enthusiasm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Life.
I think that's what we love most about you is the laugh. Yeah.
You know who said the same thing? Tim and Mike. They were like, after they first met me, they were like, we gotta like get this guy to laugh more.
It just keeps us coming back for more. So yeah, my goal is to see how many times we can get that laugh to like the high pitch.
Tell some jokes. Let's see.
No, we're gonna get personal. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna get out of just the kind of run of the mill question answers. I'd like to get a little personal with you.
Let's do it.
Talk about God, talk about having kids, talk about what success really looks like for somebody who's gone from prison to pastry chef to weed hustler. I don't know what you call it, slinging weed and whatnot. But let me just start off with what we were talking about, which is kids. You've got one kid.
One child.
She's 4.
She's 4.
And you're in that state. How old are you?
35.
And you're deciding, is one enough? Are we going to have another kid? Talk to us about that. Like, what you go back and forth?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the same kind of boat as Ash. Like, how do you give that same like one-on-one attention to like multiple kids?
Yeah.
But also like the business, right? Like me and my wife are very like work together. And so I feel like if we have another child potentially, like it's going to take some of her attention away from the business. And a story is like when we started taking Pathfinder serious, like she helped us grow, like catapult. And literally the 2 years when she was away from it, we like stayed stagnant. We didn't go anywhere. Same number year over year.
Marketing company.
Yeah. And so now like she's super involved in this. And so like my concern is like, yeah, if we, take the foot off the gas while like the momentum's building, like we could lose momentum. But in the grand scheme of things, like we were saying, like when you look back at the end of the road, it's like kids and family is probably like the most important thing anyways, like my original mentor, Roy, he exited his company, $100 million, whatever. And now he's like, dude, I just, make lunch for my kids, take them to school. Like just, that's what really matters at the end of the race. Like, so it's a balance. I don't know. Like, I got to sell my wife on it, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, Ash, on a second child?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also think that especially because, and we'll talk about this more, but where the Pod Place is right now and how far you want it to go, it is so hard with just one kid. And, I run my firm and, I share custody with Remy. So Monday through Wednesday, I'm at the office until 7:00 at night, every single night. And I think how hard this would be if I had another kid and wasn't able to kind of juggle my time in this very specific way. So yeah. I think it's getting harder and harder as, you're trying to climb the ladder.
Yeah. In the Jewish tradition, basically when you have a kid, it unlocks like the next level of blessings. Like, so there's like, you could always argue either side because like, when you had your first child, it kind of like, for me at least, it was like, it made my time way more valuable. I was like, okay, I can't do anything outside of these hours because I need to be there with them. And so like, it exponentially made my time valuable, which then I had to learn how to like delegate, manage, and build teams and leadership more than before. And so I imagine like if that was the case, right, like everything's always working out for you anyways, like if you had the second child, like it would level you up as a leader and like, and you would still have to, because you still have to put the same level of output out, but with less of your time. So it makes you like think differently, potentially, right? I don't know. You have 4 kids. How did you do it?
You tell us.
No, well, I have 4, and I feel like it was somewhat, forced upon me, right? It was just part of the culture, and that's what everybody was doing. So it's one of those things, and Ash has heard me say it several times, that I'm grateful that I was born into that faith and that, those circumstances where it was seen as just something you do. You You don't party away your 20s and wait to get serious about life when you're 30 or 35, right? There is a natural shelf life to certain biological things and events, and having kids is a big one, maybe the biggest one, right? Where
Yeah.
we've got to really actually look down the road and think, okay, well, I'm going to be that old. Am I going to have that much energy? And do I want to be doing this? And then, I'm now entering a phase where I'm 47, almost 48, and now we're looking forward to grandkids. And I'm just looking at my life thinking, okay, I've made a bunch of money, more than I ever thought I'd make. I've been successful in ways I never imagined, thanks to Ash, a lot of it. But now as I'm looking at 50 to whatever, 80, 90, if I didn't, 100 maybe, yeah, depending on how serious I am about that longevity stuff, taking my pills. But no, I'm just looking at it going, if I didn't have grandkids to look forward to, I mean, obviously I've got 4 kids and that's amazing, but that's that next phase in life that me and my friends who have the blessing of having kids, it's like, that's what's exciting. Like, that's the next phase, is grandkids and spending time with them and being able to just do all the things again, right?
Yeah.
And so I asked that question, and I ask it to a lot of my friends, and it's kind of one of my pet topics that's very personal, and so obviously don't ask that to people I don't feel comfortable with and know very well, but it's just something that I think people should be talking about more, a little bit more serious, because you have to get old to realize how fast time really does fly. You can hear everybody say it, like, oh,
Yeah.
your kid's going to be,
Yeah.
Remy's in kindergarten now, and you're going to blink and they're in high school.
I
And
have a question for you though. So I kind of freak myself out with the time game, and I'm like, okay, when Remy graduates, I'm gonna be this old. When he has a baby, I
thought
could be
about
this old. It's awful. I play this game all the time with myself. But I equally think there is not a time that I could be raising this child the way that I'm raising him, had I had him any sooner in life, that like I had to mature to raise my son in the way that I really want to raise him. Do you feel like there's something to waiting until you're psychologically ready to have kids? Do you have them and then you figure it out?
no, I think that's a little bit of the, I don't know if I want to say lie, but it's like you figure it out, right? And do the older ones get the shaft a little bit, right? But if you come around and you grow up with them and learn, then they forgive you for your misgivings and for the things that the younger ones don't get, which is just more unconditional love, realizing that like you don't have to stress and worry about everything, and if their room's dirty, and if there's just so many little things that I've learned don't matter and aren't worth sacrificing the relationship with the kid about and getting up and worked up about. So absolutely, right? There's an advantage to being, you'd be a different mom at 22 and 23, right? And they would get the brunt of that. But they come around, they're resilient. And so no, I do think that's one of those comforting things that people just say because it's terrifying and it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. But then you go through all the quotes and it's like, yeah, that's what life's about, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what you're going to actually grow and learn from. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
How old are you when you first had your first kid?
23.
Whoa.
Right. 23. And so, I get that reaction, but then what people don't get to see is all these amazing things that we get to do where they aren't embarrassed of their grandpa.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Cheering for him, right? And then like,
Settle down.
right.
You're very vital and healthy. Like,
But it's like, it's cool that I
Good
can
thing I have
go,
that good skin.
but it's cool that I can go on I went heliboarding for the first time last year, and the first thing I'm thinking as I'm having this amazing experience is I want to come do this with my boys, and I can because I'm a younger father. Right?
Yeah.
And there is a shelf life on physical things that you can do with them, the energy that you have, and then just like you said, you read enough, you listen enough. The people that are really kind of wise, not just in making money, but wise about life, they will tell you, if they're being honest, that like, yeah, that's what matters. Like all the other stuff is noise, and it's cool to be written up in magazines and be a speaker and all, and have book deals. But like at the end of the day, like your small tribe is literally what matters. And so I don't know, that's why I kind of feel a little bit of a calling to have these conversations with people and just get them to think about it, because yeah, it's terrifying. But I think people just sort of, because it's terrifying, push it off, put it on the back, and then the next thing you know, they go, oh, that's kind of passed me by, and what if, and maybe I should have.
Yeah. Well, I have two, or do you have?
No,
I had
go ahead.
two thoughts. Like one, I don't know if you saw the Alex Ramosi and like Tony Robbins podcast
I did.
recently, and he like
Yeah.
Tony Robbins said he just had a 4-year-old, and he's like 74. Like that's crazy. I was telling Judy about it, and I was like, I don't know how they did it. She's like,
Tony
well,
Robbins is 74.
yeah, that's what he said.
Doesn't he look so good?
Yeah,
74.
and he has a 4-year-old.
Longevity stuff. Talk about it.
Yeah, he's got a
Yes.
book about it. Judy was like, I need to read that book. Like, I don't know if he had it with his wife or like because of menopause and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, but he said he had a 4-year-old, so that's kind of crazy.
Wow.
You know, and that's like the wisest guy in the world. Like, I'm
Right.
sure he's like,
Yeah.
you know, and he said that's like the most amazing thing. And then the second thing I had a thought about is I saw this clip on somebody's podcast. I don't remember who it was, but it was saying that like, because, you know, the economy and like men and like something around like the lines of like procreation, like men who aren't earning a certain amount of money like don't feel comfortable one even getting a wife or like creating a family or anything.
Mhm.
And it was a high percentage, like 60 or 80% of something of men don't feel like they're earning enough. And it's kind of crazy that like in the podcast he shared the statistic, I don't remember it, but he said that it's crazy that like something so trivial as like just earning a living is preventing people from experiencing like the best part of life,
best part.
you know? So it's kind of, I mean, it's a time where like, yeah, population is kind of like a concern for people. In Japan, it's a major thing. Like it's like
just Japan. I mean, Europe, I just had this conversation when we were traveling abroad where there are so many European countries where they are actively doing everything they can to incentivize people to have kids.
Yeah.
And some of it is just as simple as saying, we're going to lose our entire culture
Yeah,
if we don't start repopulating.
Yeah.
literally.
Like,
I will, and you know, what comes first, right? Chicken or the egg?
right.
Previously, before this podcast, you said that having 4 kids, because we were talking about, gosh, how do you afford 4 kids? You were talking about, I mean, I had them, so I had to go out there and make money, and it gave me some incentive. And I was talking to you, and you kind of said that when you got married, things kind of started aligning for you because you would let go of some things, and she pushed you in a different direction. And I think that that's kind of the thing that gets lost is I can't have the kid and I can't have the wife until when that can be the catalyst for you to get this
Right,
stuff,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. And that's what I would always hear is like, well, I'm going to wait until I've saved this much and I have this much money. And I do feel like that is backwards in the sense that like you're going to, how many people do you know are homeless on the street with their kids and they're starving? Like it just,
Not many.
you- like you're going to figure it out. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to go without diapers and formula. Like you're going to
Yeah.
figure it out. And it does force you to grow up, which is what we all are kind of putting off when we're in our 20s and
Yeah.
younger. So again, I'm not, if I didn't grow up in my situation with my faith and the people around me, it would have been a different situation. I just know now with the wisdom at 47, I'm so grateful that I did and that I
Yeah.
didn't wait to have that.
Well, so here's my next question, especially as somebody that was in the Mormon religion, or is in the Mormon religion. What is your advice to young men about finding a good partner at that age?
Mm.
Because it's one thing to just be told, find a wife, have babies, right? But there's also consideration for what would make a good partner. And how do you know that at such a young age?
Yeah, well, you look lots of first dates. Like I tell my son right now, like lots of first dates. You know, I think to the extent you can do a little bit of like research and hopefully you can know about the family like that they come from because they're just going to pattern a lot of that.
Yeah.
That's not to say that it can't work out, but it certainly gives you a leg up if you don't have to deal with some trauma that they've already
Yeah.
gone through. So having them come from a great family and a background, but yeah, lots of first dates and then just looking for somebody that genuinely challenges you and pushes you and doesn't just kind of worship you because they think you're attractive or athletic or something that's more trivial.
Yeah.
But somebody that makes you kind of go, oh, you know what? Like, yeah, I need to maybe play a little less video games and get out there and like, you know, get going.
Yeah.
Yeah, get after it.
Yeah.
Ashamed to tell you how much Mario I played this weekend.
Hey, you burned that.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's great, like wisdom to know at like 23, because like, you know, me at 23, I had no idea. And like if I would have married the girl I was dating at 23, it probably wouldn't have worked out. But I read something or heard something somewhere where it's like you just want to marry like a nice girl from a good family. Like, you know, if you could simplify it to that, like I think that's great advice because like you said, they'll mirror their patterns and what they've learned.
Well, yeah, stop looking for like go make yourself the prize, right?
Yeah.
Like, instead of looking for that perfect partner, perfect mate, like work on yourself so relentlessly each day that
Yeah.
you are becoming that person that attracts someone who's worthy of your love, right? And meets you where you're at. I mean,
Yeah.
so the focus is like, oh, well, I hear the young men complain. I
She has
coach
to be
men.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's, they're too churchy, or they're too this or whatever. And it's like, maybe you're not churchy enough, or maybe you're not, like, maybe you need to be working on yourself to attract that person that you want to deserve.
100%.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because like as a man, like in that book, Gene Simmons on Power, he talks about that, like, like you have to. A young man is pretty much useless and not valuable. Like, so you need to work on yourself, like so much until you become of value, where you could, be valuable to society, learn a skill, learn a trade, like develop yourself, and then you become attractive, like a magnet, right? You like pull, like you become gravitational, things come towards you. But like, if you have no like stature or anything in a young man in this world, like, and I would notice it when I was younger, like, oh, all the like attractive girls like older guys, like, why is that, like, and it's because they're already like getting their things in order and like pulling things. So it's tricky. I mean, I don't have a son, I have a daughter, but if I do have a son eventually, like, I think like showing them to be a good man is like probably a challenge, right? Like, that I would butt heads with my wife about. We've talked about it. But I think you have to like endure some hardships and some adversity as a young man to like really develop manliness.
What's the strife? What's the dispute between you and your wife about that?
I think I would be probably like, and you have sons and daughters, right? So like maybe you could share some insight, but like I think I would be a lot harder on like a son versus like a daughter, where like I'm more forgiving and like loving, where like as a man or as a young, I don't know like what point, like, it transitions where you're like, dude, you're a young boy, like, like we like, women have innate value, like they could produce life, like men don't have any innate value, like you have to become valuable. And so like I think, at least for me, like I was just sharing this story the other day, is like how I grew up was very tumultuous. My dad and my mom split up when I was like 5, and my dad and his family my dad didn't have money, he was the black sheep, but his family had money, his brothers, and so they were able to win full custody. And so I didn't see my mom from when I was 5 till I was 17. Mm-hmm. And in that interim, my dad was like still like all shot out, right? Like drugs, alcohol, in and out of jail. Like, so he would go to jail for like 2 years. And in that time I'd live with my uncles, and then he'd get out and I'd go live with him and me and my sister, and he'd be like in the trap, right? Like using drugs, like some ghetto hole in the wall, budget suites, like, and so when I was with my uncles, like for fear of me turning out like my dad, they were so hard on me. Like they wouldn't buy me school clothes. Like I had to have a job and get my own school clothes, and like I would have to work like right out of school. Like I'd get out of school, like I'd have to go to work, and like they would give me like dig a hole like 4 feet by 4 feet and 4 deep, like for like this like 100-yard patch, like, and that's what I would do, like freaking 16 years old, like,
Really?
Yeah, swear to God, from like 13 to like 17, not that exact job, but all kinds of odd jobs like that, and they were like tough on me, like so hard.
Would they be like, fill it up again type of hole?
No, it'd be like, okay, now let's put this tree in it, like, like, so it wasn't like just
not
like
that bad.
For holes.
Yeah, fill it up, dig it again.
Hey.
No, like, but yeah, like just super tough on me. So I like, developed resilience, and like there's not a lot that could break me down, and I feel like I would want to transfer some of that like life wisdom over to like my offspring, like.
But I guarantee you would, at your age and with the wisdom that you've accumulated over the years, you would be able to do that in a softer way, understanding that like, okay, I've got to come about that with like love, not fear.
Right. Yeah. And I think through like sports is a good medium or something, but I would have high standards, like, like, okay, you got to go out and be the best, like, and I'll give you all the tools and I'll support you. But like, I would have higher standards. I think I like, not that I don't have high standards for my daughter, but I think I would be still even softened harder, like on my son. But I don't know, like, do you notice like different parenting style in your children?
Yeah, that's something I think, Ash probably can relate to, like they come down with this personality, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, kind of like, oh, wow, like you don't just like, they're not all this, like they come down with this personality. So you've got to work with what they are and how they process things. And I've got a daughter that's so different than my boys in terms of just like, if she's not interested in it, and she's like school, she's not interested in it, like you can't just be like, well, no, it's important and you got to do it. You got
Yeah.
to find a way of like around it and be like, okay, well, what are you interested in, and then go from there. So yeah, you do learn like you've got to tailor each and every like approach to each kid.
Yeah, right. And as long as they like get the message, like in however you present it, to like ultimately like gather that wisdom or that right information for them to like take away, I think, yeah, it's like there's a right way to like kind of convey your message in a way that they could receive it, right? So I don't know. I don't
know. Remy's only 4, and the things I think that really matter to me is that he has like a whole sense of self, and he has a lot of confidence in the support that's around him to do what he wants to do. And I think that that's, I think my dad raised me like his firstborn boy. And so the upbringing that you're talking about, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like the upbringing I had with my dad. And it did. It made me really resilient. But we talked about it earlier, right? It made me somebody that wanted to achieve above all else. And that's the part of my adulthood that I'm now undoing. And I don't want Remy to have that. So I try to pay a lot of attention what he's interested in, and then make that really important but really exciting to me, and so that he feels a lot of confidence. Because I think for us, like having grown up in a tumultuous like situation, a lot of what we do is fear of not having stability and fear.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's based on fear.
Yeah, I feel like the things that like that are so I think we've come a long way in understanding how to raise children. It used to be like tough love.
Yeah.
Like all these things are like, I don't know if that's necessarily the best way. The book that I recommend and give to a lot of friends is called Good Inside, which is, the premise is kids are inherently good, right? And your job is not to come in and impose like, well, you need to be a cheerleader or you need to get straight A's and that's going to reflect well on me. Like your job is just to not like kill what's inside of them already, right? But to bring it out, which you see with Remy. And I think we understand that better than our parents did and their parents did. And so the tragedy that I see is a lot of people aren't having kids, or they're putting it off or waiting for this perfect moment when they've got the house and the money and the bank account and all these things are lined up, not understanding that like you're not going to be your parents. You're going to do it different. And you're going to do it better because you understand these things, right? And like society is caught up to this idea that like, no, like you need to approach it from love and not control and fear and those types of things.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, my wife's pretty good. Like she would keep us on the straight and narrow. Like if it was getting out of hand, I don't think I have a lot of faith in her and like what she's capable of doing. So I think we would be all right. Second hit, maybe.
No, but I think to your point, like, life, especially in these days, can be too easy, and so I agree with you that there has to be some level of resiliency, and it's getting harder and harder to teach that in the ways that we did,
right?
I remember Will Smith was on like Oprah, and I loved his interview about his kids because he was like, number one, mommy and daddy are rich. We're not. And number two, like every summer he would make them build something, build a wall or something, do something with their hands. And I really think that's important too.
Yeah. Well, you talk about sacrifices, and certainly having a kid or kids is going to be one of the biggest sacrifices that you make. And I can honestly say that I've had people who in honest moments will say, hey, I really like envy that you get to have these amazing experiences and your kids are great and all these things, and they don't see the
Like,
fights and the strife and the pain of having to figure it out on the fly and whatnot. And I'm going to read you a quote that ties into this thought, which is from Alex Hormozy. He says, people wish for other people's lives, but not for their sacrifices. We wish for the prize, but not the price. And it's no different when business, kids, what are your thoughts on that quote? I mean, have you had any friends or family that now that you've experienced a little bit of success, you've got an amazing wife and child, and they say, oh, Oscar's got it all figured out and it's great. And then you kind of just like in your head, you're like, yeah, but you don't know like the price that I paid, and you just envy that part of it.
Oh man, I love Hormozy. What a great quote. Like I really like, I feel like if, we're older now, so it's like say heroes or like, but he's one of the guys I really like. He's our age. I think he's like 35 or 36, and like he's here in Vegas, and I read all of his books, and his story is incredible because like he, you know,
Yeah, for
he
people that aren't familiar, tell us.
yeah, so he like he was a personal trainer, or he was in finance or something, saved up a bunch, like not a bunch, like 50 grand or something, opened up a gym because he was like, this sucks. And so he opened up a gym, and then he learns marketing. He opens up like 7 gyms, and he's doing well. And then he like liquidates them all, or like, yeah, something happens. And he sells them because he's going to go into marketing, and then he gets scammed, like loses all his money, like all of everything he acquired, he loses it all. And he's got like one credit card with like 100 grand limit, and he just like starts using it to market and sell his offer. And he just like got like his ass kicked, and then came back, and it happened like twice. I don't remember the exact story, but like he failed and then built himself up, and then like again, like when he almost had it figured out, like lost everything again, and then finally like it like took off for him. And I could relate in like my sense of like I had 2 major failures, and it was like finally kind of like started going well. But to go back to the quote, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices. And I think the only sacrifice is really like self-development. Like I wish I would have just started working on myself sooner. And like it's tricky when like if someone's starting right now, right, and they're like hearing this podcast, and maybe they're like, "Oh, I have a wife and a kid, and I want to start a dream or something, but I can't because I'm working all day." And so like how am I going to get there? And so like there are sacrifices you have to make. Like in that particular case, like you probably have to sacrifice time with your family, right? Or or time at work, one or the other, and then build your life accordingly. But like before I started my family and everything, I built the life the way I wanted to. So like I work on my dreams like 9 to 5, like, you know, that's when I'm working on stuff. And so then when I'm done with that, it's like all family. So I don't have like, I'm not torn between the two too much. But like if you're not have the opportunity to do that, there is, yeah, like a lot of sacrifice you'd have to make, and like sacrificing time to like work on yourself to get to that state. And I think like a lot of my sacrifice is more just like the self-development stuff, like reading all the books, like, and then taking the risks and stuff. But like I guess the hardest times are already kind of like behind me. Like when I met my wife, like the biggest like failures was like the bankruptcy with the first business, and then going to jail for like the 3 weeks. Like
so casually. You know, going to jail, like everyone does it. Like everyone does it at some point.
In Vegas, there's probably a higher percentage, like of
at some
people.
point you're gonna go to jail.
It's legal now. You know, why were you in jail in the first place?
Yeah, so like those were like my most like catastrophic, life destroying failures that I like endured like during business. Like I just never gave up, you know, like I just was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. That tore me apart, like, and then I tried that, and that tore me apart. And so once I like met my wife, it was already like kind of like, okay, I know enough about business, I know enough about this is how I'm gonna like set ourselves up. And then we kind of set up the organization that way, and then then we had our daughter, and so I was able to kind of like, I don't feel like I sacrificed that much, like, you know, but like I guess kind of I
Those
did.
failures could have paralyzed you, now, you know, and you didn't. And now you're building this, you know, really successful and, you know, potentially really, really lucrative business. And you did it after 2 failures, which I think is, going back to Joe's point, the thing that people don't understand was like, this wasn't easy.
Yeah.
This, if we look at the history of Oscar's life,
Yeah.
he tried, he failed, he tried, he failed, he tried again, and this one, you know, ended up working out. And I think that's what people lose, you know.
Yeah, it was, those 2 failures were like totally reset, like total like destructive, like everything I've amassed, and then it's like gone. And then I'm like in my parents' house, like, I must have done something wrong, like, you know. That was like where the self-development started. Like
It's such a hard concept to teach young people, though, that's the point, and that you don't get it to control whether or not, like, the success stuff, like, that's great, but like it's the whole journey, and you got to focus on the process, blah blah blah. But like when you're younger, it's just something you're not ready or prepared to hear, that like mistakes and setbacks, all that stuff is like, it's actually good.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen anyway, so you might as well learn to like flow with it instead of resist it.
for sure.
That is where I feel like, I've said this before, but just like when you grow up in a tumultuous childhood, that literally like you've been through really hard things, so what could be so bad, you know?
Dude.
And so failure to me, like I don't have that instinct of like fearing failure.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're
well, damn, here we are again.
That's true. Like,
Try again.
dude,
out.
like I remember, and I don't think I've shared this ever on a podcast, so exclusive, but like I remember my dad would like somehow rig like the power, so he would like get an extension cord from the neighbor or from the line or something,
Oh
and then like run the power.
For cable. Right?
No, for power for like
literally
Your
everything.
dad do that?
I
He told me that story.
No, yeah, I'm like sitting in my living room because our power went out, and we have our TV, our refrigerator, and a light all plugged in while we're like eating lobster on the living room floor.
Yeah, dude. So then like, you know, taking that and like heating up on the heater like lamp, and then like warming up a bath, and like, dude, like being like literally almost homeless. So like I tell my wife, like when we were first getting started and like, you know, like trying stuff, when I left my job, I was like, dude, it can't be like, what's the worst case that happened? We're like, we're homeless, like we could stay we crash at my parents' house, we'll be all right, like, you know. So now though, like it's changed a little bit, like because I have a child and I would never allow her to like experience that, but that level of like they will never experience that, like, yeah, like, you know, he puts you against the wall and you like start going. And like I think a big thing that I've learned now over like the years is that like everything's always working out for your best interest. Like every experience, whether good or bad, is working out for your best. Because like if you try and you fail, you learn that. So like those two business failures, like had I not tried and failed at those, like I would have not learned what I needed to learn, and I wouldn't have like got me to this place. So like now, whether it works out or not, I'm like, dude, it's the best thing that could have happened.
And
it's
you
either
learned that from your reading, I'm guessing.
yeah,
it's very stoic philosophy, right?
Yeah. So I just don't have a fear anymore. It's like, okay, it's either I'm gonna do it, and it's either gonna not work, and I'm gonna learn the data and get some qualitative data that I could take to the next thing, or it's gonna be a home run, and that's what we expected, like, you know. But having that, it's like adds to that like resilience of the persistence, like because then you're not afraid to just keep trying and keep going and keep trying and keep going and fail and learn and fail and learn. So
yeah, you said it. What's the worst that could happen? I have that mentality.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
I'm curious, but do you have a peer group? I'm guys, you have friends, right? People like you.
You guys, like, you know,
beyond us. No, I imagine you have a lot of friends, and they look to you as an example of somebody who's had difficulties, struggled, and overcame. Do they look to you for mentorship?
Dude, I don't have any like friends that I grew up with. I have one friend that I grew up with. His name's Mikey. He's oil changing tech at Terrible's. He just got a promotion. Like we still talk regularly, like on the weekends and stuff. But like people that I grew up with, they like don't value my like what I have to say, because like they're like they just see me as like a shithead. Like you're a shithead. I was a shithead. The way you said doesn't matter because we're the same shit.
They still see like old Oscar
in the old light. So like it doesn't hold any weight. Or like my cousins or family, like, you know, I could tell them anything, but they're like, whatever. Like, so the people that do like take my advice are just guys that like I work with or that I meet professionally or whatever. Like, but no one like kind of was like, hey, how did you get out of here? Like, you know, how did you like turn your life around? Like no one that I grew up with has reached out for any of that type of advice. So.
Yeah. But that goes back to like the more you grow, the less people are kind of in your circle, right?
Yeah, you leave them behind.
Yeah, you're just not in vibrational alignment, like, you know, we're like, you know, we're in vibrational alignment. We could have conversations at a like higher level. And so, yeah, I don't know. Also, like what we were saying is like, I'm not trying to like save anyone. I used to be like, so like, I wouldn't share anything I learned from the books or like anything. I wasn't trying to like preach or like start a coaching program or like until I started to have staff, and I was like, okay, I want you guys to have a better life and like do better. And I started to kind of like coach and like share and like what I've learned. But it was like for that same reason, like I've been ridiculed online so many times for like sharing something that I've learned, and like I was like,
how dare you?
I know, right?
Try to lift people up.
Yeah. So after that, I was like, whatever, dude. All right, you guys are on your own. Like, if you want something, I'll tell you. But I'm not trying to like.
You can't force
so much. Yeah.
You mentioned that you love Alex Hormozi. I love Naval Ravikant. He's my guy. He's on your shelf right there. The Almanac of Naval Ravikant.
Yeah.
Here's one of his more famous quotes. He says, "Desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want." And this one, when I first read it, it stung because I have a lot of desires. I'm a desirous guy, and sometimes I wonder why I'm unhappy. And so when I read that, it definitely put a light on like some things that I needed to work on, which was just letting go of things. Like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to continue to desire that thing. Has there been anything in Oscar's life where you're like, okay, this no longer serves me and it's time to stop pursuing it and beat my head against a wall and just let it go, because
Hmm.
that brought you happiness. That brought you peace to just say, I'm not going to desire it anymore.
Huh. Whoa, that's a deep question. I don't like I have I'm trying to articulate my thoughts, right? Like I feel like one, I have a different outlook on desires. That is crazy though. I've never thought about it in that way. Um I can't I can't think of anything. Oh, the candle business, which like when you ask the accident question, everyone's like, no, but I actually did get here in this business on accident, so we could talk about that. But
Yeah.
the candle business, we were like, yeah, we were putting so much energy into it. Like, so we inherited it from my wife's sister, and we got it. It was like making $7,000 a year or something, right? I was like,
Easy,
pretty
don't
cool.
brag. Take
Yeah, right. So we were like, all right, we could do this, and we like got it to like $26,000, and we're like, I think this has got some potential. But it was so like, but we were both not passionate about it. We were both like had no desire for it. We were just kind of like inherited it and felt like it was like our duty to like keep it going. And then
for our listeners, you were gonna this podcast studio was originally going to be your
candle manufacturing facility, yeah, and it just didn't work out. And that was the only thing I could think of where we made a conscious decision. We're like, this is not serving us. Like,
But was that hard to walk away from 26,000 a year?
dude, it was tough.
It took a lot of guts.
It took a lot of guts, dude. And that's what I'm saying, like for how much time and energy and like marketing and everything
And that
we
was
did.
probably the harder thing, right? It was
It's like-
like it's hard to let go of effort.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And like Judy felt a little bit of shame, like, dude, we tried so hard and we like, we gotta like take it on the
Cutting
chin.
your losses is brutal.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but that wasn't like a necessarily like a desire that like, we didn't like
You wanted
desire.
it to be successful, I'm sure.
Yeah, I
You
guess
wanted
so.
to show that you could do it, right?
Yeah.
From this to this, and then
Well, you
just-
said you have another view of desire. What's your other
So-
view?
yeah.
Desire, I feel like I look at it as like a blessing or like a thing that's about to come. Like I think of desire like the sports car, right? Like I have a desire for a sports car and I could have it at any moment, right? Like
because I just asked you about it. You went shopping. It was your birthday.
Yeah.
What kind of car was it?
so at the time it was a Lotus Emira, so it's like $100,000 car. It's like you can get them for like 84 grand. But then I took the course and I was like, whoa, I could have anything. So I was looking at Porsches or Bentleys and stuff. I was like, these would be sick.
Okay.
So I could have them, but then the rational side is like, well, one, I think it's just a vanity desire and it's a selfish desire. Like no one else is like gonna enjoy it, right? Like you said, the kids in and out, they're not gonna have fun in it, and it's just like a status thing and a vanity thing. And like when I think about it, like it still gets me excited knowing that I could have it. And so like when I need to tap into that like excited enthusiasm, I'll think about it like, whoa, dude, I'm gonna be in this car.
I could
Yeah, I could
buy it if I
totally-
wanted.
Yeah, I could totally have it right now, and I'd be like,
Responsible. It wouldn't be irresponsible.
yeah, I could have it. But then I'm like, okay, well the car payment's like $2,000. Like, dude, if I just put $2,000 extra into the business, like it could generate like $4,000 to $6,000, like just from that same payment, like, And then when I think about that, it's like, okay, well, my main desire is like to keep growing this place and to keep making sure that the guys all have stability and like a job and stuff. So like, why don't I just do that and like grow the business and keep making sure that everybody else is taken care of. And then at some point, like maybe I could have it. So I think of a desire as like something like to look forward to, like, not so much as like a contract to be unhappy until I get it, but like something that's like, whoa, yeah, I could have that. So I'm going to hold this desire to give me that pull whenever I need it. And then, but other desires like manifest quicker, like, but like those big like desires that I kind of hold like a carrot, I kind of look at them as like, yeah, like
It's so funny that you're using the carrot analogy because when you first said it, I was like, God, that stings to hear it too, because I feel like I'm constantly chasing after a carrot and I'm over it. I don't want to chase any more carrots. 2026 is
No
crafted carrot.
no carrots.
No, what if
We're
no
killing.
carrot?
Tiffany's front display.
We're
well, and all those things, like, again, they're vanity metrics, but once
it's
you
fun, it's like you said, it's like kind of fun to just know that if you wanted to, like, just kind of have a moment and be like, sure, but also then having the wisdom to be like, why am I doing that, and do I really need it, and what am I trying to say to my friends and my family by having that thing, right?
Yeah.
And again, Not that you can't have nice things,
Yeah.
but it makes you a wiser consumer, I think,
Yeah.
for sure, where you're not just kind of like, oh, well, my favorite celebrities are all doing this, or they're all vacationing here. Like
Yeah.
Ash and I just had a conversation where we did this amazing trip with my family to Israel and Jordan. We went to Petra.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I grew up watching Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, and to like know I could go there at some point and show my kids and ride camels. So it was this amazing experience. And then I buy a book coming back, Why You Travel. It's called Why We Travel.
Mm.
And as I'm reading it, because sometimes I feel like I have to defend it to my friends. Like, bro, can't you just be happy at home? Why do you just want to go on these trips? And I'm like, I love it. Like I love feeling like the newness of a new place with new languages. And so anyways, but I learned something about myself, which was it's an excuse to be together and away from all the demands of work and life and just be with my family and my people, right?
Yeah.
Being in a cramped like hotel room, grabbing connecting flights, like that's not something I would do if it was just me.
Yeah.
But I know that's how I get my kids in college and everyone to get together, and we look forward and we're excited about it, and it's the anticipation of it. So anyways, I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but like for me,
well, just a life that you don't have to vacation from, right? That there's balance in that.
Yeah. But I'm saying as I get older, though, I am realizing like I don't need to travel as much or to places that I really don't want to go. Like you just get a little bit wiser and being like, oh, well, used to be I want to see the entire world, and like you go to some place and you're like, yeah, I'm good, one and done.
Well, now you
Or
can
go back here,
be at your house, and
right. But you do kind of you've done some trips where you're like, this was nice, but like I don't need to come back. It wasn't worth the hassle, and I probably could have just stayed home with my family and friends and carved this out in Las Vegas. So, anyways, I think it does make you a little bit wiser to just pump the brakes and go, wait, before I buy this luxury $100,000 Lotus, ask yourself why. Like, why am I doing it, or why do I want it?
Yeah. No, and I think like, what was I gonna say about the traveling? I don't know. I got lost off top. It's just good to
I love your honesty though. I asked him. He went to Zion and did one of these glamping things and posted it, and I loved his honesty. I was like, "How was it?" Because your post made it look like it was the coolest trip ever, and you're like, "It's all right. It's kind of a hassle, and the kids were it's just funny. Like it's
Oh, that's what I was gonna say about traveling. So like when we were when our daughter was young, we wanted to go all these places, but we're like, oh, the taking her around, it's gonna be a hassle. But then like when we went to Japan, I think she was 2, and it was so worth it. I was like, dude, I would do that all over again. The she had to go poop, like as we were taking off, like she's like, I have to go poop, and I was like, you gotta have to hold it. And like we're in Japan, so they're like super strict. Like in America, I'm like, dude, whatever, you get up and go. So like we get up and they're like, hey, sit.
They'll
I'm like,
tackle you.
oh, okay. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to hold it. And she's like, I can't. So she starts like breaking out in tears, and like we're like started to climb. I was like, I'm out of here, dude. I don't care. Like, so I take her back, and so like there's hassle, but like it was totally worth it. Like, would I deal with that all over again? 100%.
Oh, it's totally. I took Remy to France when he was like 7 months old. So like 14-hour flight, slept all the way there, all the way back. But I've had him on flights since he was that young, and he loves traveling. It's
Really?
like, he says hello to everyone down the aisle. Hello, good morning. He stops in the cockpit. They didn't invite him to the cockpit on the last flight that we were on, and he's like, Mom, what's
going on here? I don't think they know.
Exactly. Tell them who I am. So I think that like if you raise them to love it as much as you do, then it's not as difficult as people make it sound.
Yeah.
Although we talk about having more, and it's like it's a
2.
lot of stuff to carry.
Yeah. Then you're gonna have to have like.
Did you travel with them when they were
No,
young?
my wife was very clear on like international travel, like waiting until they were a certain age, right? At least till like 10, 11, 12 when they can actually remember it. And so we would leave the youngest at home. And,
Oh, no way.
and it worked out, with grandma and grandpa. But no, for me, it's just, it's about forcing it and then creating this experience. And those are the core memories. Like if you go to enough funerals or if you talk to people later in life, they'll talk about that trip that they all did, or right.
Yeah.
So for me, I love curating. We just did a day in LA with my daughter. She was gone on a church mission for 18 months. And it was just really fun to plan like a very detailed, chat GPT kind of a day where we just did everything. It was kind of like a rom-com montage,
In
We just did,
LA.
like the ice skate, and then we went that night to the concert and went and visited a friend in Hollywood Hills. And I don't know. So when I talk to people about having more kids, it's like I'm just having these experiences now in my late 40s where I wouldn't trade it for anything. And if I asked you like, okay, well, Oscar, right now I'm going to make you a deal. give up your 4-year-old, what's her name?
Lola.
Lola, or and I'll give you $1 billion, right? And you like, but it's
No,
it's
yeah.
stupid, but like, there's no amount of money,
Yeah,
which
right.
is trite to say, but like, you need to like probably think about why that is a little bit more and be like, well,
Right.
maybe I should give more thought and consideration to this decision. If there's no price in the world that I would trade for this kid,
Right.
what would I do for the next one? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean, you got me sold, right? I gotta go sell Judy on it now.
Sorry. Just who regrets having a kid? Like,
Right.
I don't know anyone. Not a good, decent human's ever gonna be like, my first and second were awesome. My fourth, my third, I hate. Like, what? Like, if I could give it back or up for adoption,
Take them away.
right? Even when they're tough and difficult,
Yeah.
you don't ever regret that decision. But it is hard, and I think it's just hard to look down the road and go, hey,
Yeah.
it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, it's
Worth
so
the
funny.
sacrifice.
Lola will go like, Dad, I don't like you right now, but I still love you. Like, it's so funny.
You're like, which is it?
Yeah. 35.
You're
Yeah.
35. What advice would you give your 25-year-old self? Go back a decade.
Oh, man.
And if you were to say one thing, what would you say to your 25-year-old self?
Dude, I would say, there's not too many things I would change in the story, honestly. Like, I would say when I was around that age, like 23, 24, this is one thing I would tell him is like, buy that house, right? Because like, what my dad,
Quotes, buy that house.
buy that house. My dad, at this time, he went to jail. We have the same name, Oscar Cardona, and he got like a tax return check in the mail. It was like $3,000. This is like 2012, right? So it's houses are like 70 grand at this time, and like, freaking, he gets a tax return check. It's like $3,000. I'm like, whoa! I cash it. I get my tax return check. I cash it. It's another $3,000, and then I get paid. And I have like almost 10 grand at that time, right? And I'm 22 years old. I'm like,
That's a lot of
oh.
money.
Yeah, that's a ton of money for a 22. And in 2012, I should have bought the freaking house. I bought a street bike instead, cash. Like, went to the dealer, balled out, like,
This
no, I
is
want
why
it
you're not
cash."
buying that car right
No,
now.
yeah. You're like, in the
Lesson.
back of your head, you're like,
Yeah.
again,
I've
don't do
done
this
this.
again.
Yeah, so bought the freaking bike. It was like $7,000, and the helmet and all the stuff, right? Like, cashed out on that. I should have bought the house like we were at. Like, I
You'd
should
be
have just
renting
did
that
it.
bad boy out.
Dude, even worse. So like my dad, because he was shot out, right? Like his boss, his wife had an affair or something in the house. So they had this house, beautiful house. They like did a bunch of stuff to it. He's like, his wife was like, I never want to see this house again. So he just like let it go into foreclosure, right? So like let the house go. And like no one's staying there. My dad's like, dude, we could stay at this house for like free for like as long as we need to. I was like, no way. So we move into this house, right? Like we're there for like a year, right? Like while
Oh my
like
God.
we're just squatting in the house. Like I should have like bought it out of foreclosure, and like that house now is probably like over 7 figures. Like it had a
Oh,
basement. It was like, yeah, it was a massive house. We are just like throwing parties there and like doing all kinds of stupid kid
So
stuff.
buy that house.
Would have bought that house and then continue, just be persistent, like keep, don't be afraid to fail, don't be afraid to try. And like in the points where I was the most scared, like when I knew I was going to go to jail, like, and my stepdad was just like, don't be scared, like you're going to go through it, it's going to come out the other side, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And then I would say everything is working out for your best interest. Like everything is going to work out for your best interest.
That's a good question.
yeah.
What would you say?
Oh, to
Yeah,
37-year-old?
25.
decades now, so you got to go 25.
Or 27. That's fine if you want to feed yourself.
You know what I would, it might be similar to Ash. We have similar fathers in a lot of ways. And I think it would be more like speaking some love to myself. And which is, it is a somewhat, I feel a little vulnerable saying it because, I was taught like my dad was the toughest of all tough guys. There's a picture in my office behind my
Oh,
face
yeah.
where he's on the penny board, right? Flying down a hill.
Ripping.
in San Diego, just ripping. And so anyways, no, I would just tell myself that like the whole you're enough, you're whole and complete right now. A lot of the stuff that our life coach, Christina, has helped us and helps all of our clients understand, like detaching from outcome. I would say like, hey, whether this works out or doesn't work out, like you're saying, it's working for your interest. Life is working for you, not against you. Take the lesson, move on, and it changes nothing in terms of your inherent goodness and value. Because I was definitely feeling like if I didn't succeed and if I didn't become something, right? Like I graduated and was lost and didn't know what to do with my life and was selling windows and doors, feeling like very much like a loser. It'd be nice to know back then that like I wasn't, and that I was just at the beginning of my journey, and I just, it's going to take time. It's going to take decades to get
Yeah,
there.
for
So
sure.
that was a long answer, but yeah, so definitely more like you're fine. You're good right now. Whether this happens or doesn't change your inherent value.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
whole and complete. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That
What would
took
you
me a long
say?
time.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all of those same things. So when I was 23, 22, I was I was born and raised in Las Vegas. Was told my whole life, like, you're gonna be a lawyer, you're gonna be a lawyer. I was working at this law firm, and just my life was in shambles. And so I decided that I was gonna move to Arizona, and I had like $2,000 in my pocket, and put out so many resumes. Finally got a job, and was just like, forget it, I'm just gonna go. And it was the best thing. So do that again. I would tell any young person, like, get out of your hometown and go experience the
Break
world.
free.
Break free from that situation.
Because it does hold you back. Like, I mean, I think it can, right? If you stay in your same friend circles, or
Yeah.
sometimes your family can, like,
Well, I just had friends where they were very content to keep living the same life, and it was
want more.
like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get me out of here. So I think that just that was a really good thing for me to have done. But to your point, like, you're good as you are is a lesson that I definitely could have internalized
away.
more. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so in our last 10 minutes, let's talk a little bit about the pod, please.
And how was an accident?
And how it was an accident. Yeah. But no, you're doing amazing things. You're out in LA now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Planning to go in many other states.
Yeah. Charlotte, North Carolina is probably next, and then Charleston, probably right.
And for all of our listeners, they are so nice in LA, the nicest, right?
LA has been Judy says we have to lead with love. Like, we just got to give them love.
You're
I
helping
think
LA. Yeah, no.
give them love. I think LA needs a lot of love
Yeah.
and validation. I think everyone is like projecting out insecurities, right? And like
It's probably just magnified there.
so much, dude, so much. But it's a challenging market. I thought the biggest challenge was like the competition and like being able to do business, but we're doing business fine. Like, our ads are working, the marketing's working. But yeah, it's just the people are really difficult and demanding and like taxing and like taking, like just very like take as much as you can type of vibe. And we like give like so much, but LA has been a challenge, but Judy says like just lead with love, like give them love, be nice, like give everybody like the best possible service, and just give them love. And like everyone needs a little more love, honestly, especially there. Like they're like, you got to think about from where their perspective. Like, they're in traffic for 3 or 4 hours a day, just to get there.
I wouldn't be as happy.
No.
Yeah, right. I would be upset too. And then like everything is way inflated, like super expensive, and so like people are working like 2 or 3 jobs just to keep up.
Their chance of
Yeah.
owning a home, it depends on when their parents die.
Yeah, like, dude, just to keep up. So they're like working 3 jobs, they're stuck in 3 hours of traffic, and everyone's just being not nice to you. Like, yeah, you're just like on thin ice, dude. Anything could cause an explosive reaction. So it's like when you kind of like start to understand, everybody wants to be somebody, right? It's like, so they're just stuck in that like social pressure cooker, and so it's hard, and I get it. And I mean, when I'm in traffic too, I'm like, God, this place. But there's a lot of
But you're
opportunity.
expanding to other markets, and you have a goal. We're going to be on the record. So 100
Yeah.
podcast studios within 5. You said
5
5 to 10. Let's say
5 to 10 years.
Let's-
5
Alex
years.
Hormozy would say 5.
Yeah. And I think once we start to, right now we have our operations dialed. So now like we're actually hiring like an external marketing like team, basically. Well, like a media buyer. And then we have a copywriter from Pathfinder. And so like basically we're hiring Pathfinder to run the marketing of here. Because it's just been me and Judy like doing it. So now we're like systemizing the marketing for like to continue the ball rolling. Then we need to systemize the opening process is like the next process of it. Because once we systemize the opening, then it's just like
Right.
opening team process. So we're in the process of developing that like process of opening. And then after that, like I think it'll compound. Like I think maybe we do 4 this year, then next year we do like 8 to 10, and then the next year like 20 to 30, like, you know, is the goal. So yeah, it's
Why North Carolina?
well, originally it was because of our real estate developing partners. They have a facility there that they just opened up, like it was brand new under construction, just got all the TIs done. And so they were like, let's go into that. And so we're like, yeah, let's roll. But then the dynamic kind of shifted, but we already have like kind of like a community we started to build there, and we already kind of had like the plans, like everything built out for them. So we'll just like finance it and do it and go ahead into that space anyways. So we're just going to keep moving forward with all the work so it doesn't go to waste. And then Charleston is just like 3 hours away. It's like the next biggest metropolitan space. And so I think that that's just going to be a healthy, like when we run ads, like it's going to commingle. So I feel like that'd be like immediately next. And then we have Jacksonville, Florida, like on the docket, but Judy's not feeling that. So that probably won't make the cut. And then after that, just like keep going. Like, I don't know, like whatever's easiest, like based on wherever the universe takes us, you know, God, whatever you want to call it, like wherever we align at, like we're open to just keep going.
Do you worry? I am really genuinely curious about this. Do you worry about there being, you know how like you used to have to go get a video? Do you remember Blockbuster?
Yeah.
You're not too off from
Loved Blockbuster.
Blockbuster
Yeah.
was the best, right? But it was like, here's your limited, you know, options for watching a movie and being
Yeah.
entertained. Like a movie would come out in the summer and there was like 2 or 3 big ones, right?
Yeah.
And Netflix, streaming, that all went away. Podcasts, the barriers to entry, they've come down, right?
Yeah.
You've made that easier for people to have a voice. Are you ever cynical and think there's just too much of everything? There's too many books, there's too many podcasts, there's too many movies, and it needs to be like we've reached this fever pitch and it needs to start coming down on that bell curve?
That's a great question. So what I do know for sure is that the market's always going to shift. So like we need to have a pulse on the market. Like we have a pretty tight pulse on the podcasting market. That's like currently the studio. Like that's how I know that we're like dominating the market. So like the market will shift inevitably. Like, so we just have to stay informed and have the right data and always pivot. Like 2020 was like devastating to a lot of people. 2020, dude, we made an eBay store. It did like 120 grand. Like, because we pivoted. Like we just like, we're like, okay, we're not shooting as many videos. Like everyone's online shopping. They have freaking checks that they just got. Like, let's sell them crap. Like, you know? And so we did. And like we pivoted. So like, I feel pretty confident. Like I'm not like married to any like way of doing business. What I'm married to is the market. Like the market will always shift its demands. And as a marketer, like we experiment with offers all the time. So like an offer is like, and I got this from Hermosi, like a value proposition that you deploy and like people react to it, and either they'll like buy, yeah, whatever it is. So we're always like, we're gonna launch a Valentine's Day offer. Like we're always experimenting with any type of offer. So like as the market shifts, we'll keep testing and trying and see how it works.
Trying new things, and then if it's not podcast studios, maybe pivoting to something else.
Yeah, like who knows? Like maybe like maybe they like all of a sudden they're not podcast studios, and then they're just like content studios. Maybe they're not content studios. Maybe we just turn them into lofts and people just live here. Like, you know, like whatever the market demands. Like I forget what book I got this from, but it's almost like the market's like the end all be all. Like the market decides like the value of something. It's not like what you think it is. It's like whatever people are willing to buy. Like,
yeah, you actually have less to do with the value and the price.
Yeah, we're just like, let's see what the market wants and we'll give it to them. Like, you know, and so like, because we've been in video and marketing, like that's what we offer to the market. But like if it changed, like I say this all the time, like there is always like dystopian future theories, right? Like things could go array, or like one button away from like the end of humanity, or like if anything ever changes, like then I would change. Like, you know, like I was a baker for 10 years. Like I know
you're making some bread,
dude. I would like if the world literally like if the world ends and money's not valuable anymore, I will make bread, like flour and water, bread. Like what's up, dude? Like, you know, so like that's how I look at it, is like I'm always willing to adapt and change. And like I think if you're not, like that's how Blockbuster went out of business. Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix, and they didn't do it because they're like, you guys are peons, like this will never work. And look what happened. Like, you know, so you have to stay tapped in and like kind of catch the signal and lose the noise, like, you know. And sometimes we have to like overcome our own ego and like look at the data
It
really.
is changing whether you like it or not.
Yeah, so I feel like that's like for sure like a concern, but nothing like to like stop us from the trajectory. I think like we're gonna continue. My main goal actually like so continue to build like studios, but I want to get into commercial real estate, commercial developments and stuff like that. That's where like real like true like $100 million are like printed, like you know, not like Dapper. He's like, dude, I could freaking generate like $1 million out of thin air like right now today, like you know. And like once you get into the banking and like financial and development and stuff, like there's a lot of so that's my like 5-year goal, I guess, is like build the studio business, continue to keep growing it, and in that interim like 2 to 3 years I want to take down my first like commercial project. And then hopefully like if we could do commercial projects and put the studios inside of it, that would be great. And that's kind of like the long term. So like kind of keep building cash flow, then take that cash flow and put it into like commercial projects, and then keep doing projects essentially, like so I don't know.
Well, just know, so Ryan Holiday, he's an author, and he'll meet with all these high achievers and these people that are wildly successful, and he'll ask him like, okay, well, if you weren't stressed out and doing what you're doing, what would you do? And a lot of times they say that I'd actually want to write books like you do, right? And he's like, oh, he's like, so he reminds himself from time to time that he's doing the thing that these people who've amassed billions of dollars would do if they were free of their thing, right? And I've also listened to enough podcasts where sometimes the podcast host will ask them like, well, what would you be doing if you weren't doing this amazing thing, running Whole Foods or whatever? And they're like, I actually think your gig's pretty sweet. Like you get to sit down with people and you get to listen to, you know, their story and be inspired, and then you have a new perspective and you learn, and you know, you get to sit here a lot of times and listen in on our guests. And I think our last question that Ash and I want to know is, you know, you've had how many of you like listened in on or edited? Where are we at now?
Like as an organization or like me personally?
You personally.
Dude, I don't know. Hundreds? Like
so,
hundreds.
Yeah, but in the hundreds. So what is it about Attorneys on Accident where because you've told us in private, like your podcast is the most engaging.
Yeah.
It's the most educational. I'm trying to keep a straight face as I say this.
I'm like, where
the most inspirational. What is it about ours that's just the best? No, I was trying to get that out with a straight face. You're looking at me like...
One thing that really did inspire me is your guys' YouTube is doing incredible. Like I know it like from the back end, we're just barely seeing the numbers start to go. But like I was sharing with Ash, I don't know if Michaela shared this with you. It's like your guys' YouTube has 100 watch hours, which like if you think about like 100 hours of people's lives that actually watched you, like that's incredible. So my YouTube has 300 hours, and I started in 2012. So like all these years to get to 300, and you guys did it in like under 6 months. Like, you know, so like that really inspired me. I was like, dude, if they could do it, I could do it too. Like, you know, so I think that the guests you guys are having are really dope. I just admire your guys' tenacity and like commitment to it, and I think this could be turned really big if we continue to keep doing all the right things.
No, well, thank you for your help. I didn't deliver that very well. My timing wasn't great, but no, it was a backhanded compliment to you, because without you just saying, hey, let's do this, let's rock and roll, and you are so easy to work with, and you know, there's a chance we end up, you know, making this space our own, and you're now upstairs, right? You've expanded to upstairs to more offices.
Well, by the time this airs, then probably.
So congrats to all your success, and it's all well earned, and appreciate your inspiration. Brother. So keep it up.
Well, to end on this, right? Like you guys used to ask the accident question, so like podcast studio on accident for sure. We shared that. And then also, this interview was on accident.
It was.
Look at that.
Or was it? Or was it?
Everything is written.
I love it.
Yeah, our guest that is got to get pushed back to a different date. His last name was Carmona, and we've got Cardona.
Oh, that's where that came from.
We were like one letter off. So the universe was like,
it had a plan.
Yeah,
it had a plan.
Bigger than us.
Yeah. So. Well, thank you guys.
We really appreciate you, and never thought that we'd be doing this, but your platform certainly made it much more easier for us to jump in.
Yeah, and what's the phrase you use? Vibrational alignment. Like we met you, and I told Ash, I'm like, it's just as you get older, I'm like, I want to work with people with similar frequency, energy, where it's just like you want to pick up the phone, you want to have the conversation, because you always end it feeling uplifted and encouraged and like,
Yeah.
it's still fun and we're doing something that's
Let's
positive.
freaking go, dude.
So
Yeah, likewise. Again, like, and that's wisdom that I'm pulling from you is like, I only want to align with people that I have good vibes with, because if not, it's like, it's the point anyways, right?
the
Like,
point of, it's the whole Steve Jobs, like, why would I be living for someone else's life or like a version of it that I'm not content with? Like, I
yeah,
don't need it. Right?
yeah,
Work's so much of our life, like we should be able to enjoy
for
a good
sure.
portion of it.
What
So
we're doing.
all right, well, thanks, Oscar.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.